some of those vehicles that again, what their roles there, I mentioned earlier on, so we've got something called an M5 Stuart leading that group coming out there. Reconnaissance and wrecking. That's what we tend to say about these vehicles. And behind it is but it's got a bit more firepower. There's our later war Sherman, the one that was used in the Fury movie, with that longer barreled 76mm gun. Again, now used by the armoured regiments in that breakthrough, the circling role. Yes, they will fight other tanks, but they're not always intended for that. You know, the American doctrine was that tank destroyers with a bigger gun on a back jacket, that was supposed to tank on the enemy tank. At the back there, you might need a specialist tank at certain times. Think of D-Day, think of certain situations where a different type of role is going to be required. And of course, one of those other problems that comes on is known well, last Monday, there is two German AFBs that really are a response to the way the war turned out in Germany. You have the Stug III, and this vehicle is the Nashorn, which is also known as the Hornice. Now the whole thing here is 1940, 1939, 62 Russian national laws, German army going up on the offensive. But then there is mass of enemy armour on the eastern front, up to 50,000 T-34. And of course, similar number of Shermans over the west. They're having to evolve. They are having to devise jets to cope with that. And those two examples, the Stug III and the Nashorn, are both either de facto or still now, they're both anti-Jaeger. They are both tank killers. So, looking at the American vehicles, we've got Stuart and Chaffee, so big debate goes on all the time. Is it better to have tracks for reconnaissance? They're noisy, you can hear them coming, but they can get to places traditionally that wheels can't. Wheel technology in World War II, British Army, 1960s, the two things together.
Depends on the terrain, depends on the circumstances. I mean, if you are in, say, the European theatre of operation, the real tank killer. It's a long-range ambush weapon. Now these two, both owned, they're not ours unfortunately, they're owned by other companies. The Nashorn brought to us by Dublin, friends of Nashorn, very, very painstaking by the real translation. Stug was one of contributors on a schooner from the Santa Fe. For a thing there to that to 20 bottles, stayed there for 50 odd years. Now you imagine what piece of steel that's been bottled from the ocean half a century, like that was a number of years of restoration. And both of those vehicles now are identical for the concourse position. Both of those vehicles whatever happens, but this one's finally decided it's packed up down there. So no doubt we'll be recovering this a little bit later on, but there's me blaming the M5 Stuart, it's not the M5 Stuart, it's Ronnie. You can see it's driving around there at this moment. And they make this vehicle, they probably will be sort of role,
light reconnaissance. That's the same gun that's on the early Panzer III. It's got more good size, lots of departments, it goes further, it can go faster, and it's got more firepower behind it. And Chris, you know around this
Yeah, I was just going to come back to Chaffee. I think get a bit career. There's one particular incident.
There's a place in Denden's booth.
The French had a number of Chaffies. They were establishing the most places. They
So as I mentioned earlier, a Sherman that started in 1942 was very different to the Sherman in 1945.
actually fit that in. They had to move the Maybach engine from the rear of the vehicle to the middle to actually create a fighting compartment. And then you've got that huge gun sticking out the front. That needs a gun crutch just to keep it stable in movement. As I said, very much a vehicle. It's a long-range sniper, isn't it? If you're knocking out T-34s at range of 3.5K, that's pretty good.
Very well done. They got track remanufactured, so that's another one of those things that we're looking at. The engine in that particular one is British Army 432, so if you wait for all original parts or for these things to come along, we'll never see anything run. So compromises and restorations have to be made.